Yeah. Hey, it's Romania Black. Are we surprised? I'll be honest. This show came out of nowhere for me. I did not plan on reacting to this show at all for a while. I didn't even know what this show was, and it's getting lots of hype on Twitter. People have been like, Buddy Daddies, and I was like, at first, my first glance thought of it was, oh, this is a BL spy family, which is what it seems like. Now, is this actually going to be BL? I don't know. I saw on Twitter where there was an interview that the creator, I'm assuming this is an anime only, an anime original, was that they wanted to portray a same-sex relationship of two men being parents and fulfilling both parental roles. Okay. But I had not planned on reacting to it. I hadn't. I had a lot of people ask about it and request it, and I was like, I don't know if I'll have time. And then I'll be honest, this week at work has been absolute garbage, and I came home and I'm like, I want to watch something that I want to watch. Buddy Daddies it is. I just want to see what it is. So this is probably going to come out in a little bit on Patreon and YouTube by the time y'all see this. I may have some more episodes recorded. I may not. I didn't want to put this on the schedule because I didn't want to be committed to recording an episode weekly. I wanted to be able to say that, well, if I didn't feel like recording an episode this week, I didn't have to. So this is kind of like a surprise. I felt like it, series I'm reacting to, but I'm like, you know what? I really want to watch it. If I'm going to watch it, I might as well record it, right? Why not? So that's where we are. The only thing I know about this show is that it's kind of set up seemingly like a BL version of Spy Family, where it's two guys taking care of a girl. Now, I don't think this will be like Spy Family. If this is anime original, I'm going to be very curious because it came out at a very interesting time. Like Spy Family was greenlit, and then these guys were like, let's get on this. Let's get on the bandwagon of the found family and make our own. And if that's the case, as long as it's not exactly like Spy Family, fine. But there's two guys on the cover with guns holding a kid. So I'm like, how different from Spy Family is this going to be? I don't know. I'm assuming that's what we're going to find out. But I'm sure it will be different. I'm sure it will be very different from Spy Family. It's just very hilarious that Spy Family ends and this series immediately starts afterwards. Like, if you still have a hankering for a found family with possible spy or assassin connections, can we hook you up? So if you've never watched my reactions before, I go into these series as blind as possible. I try not to get spoiled. And so I can just be surprised like you all were watching for the first time. So I love BL series though. I don't watch enough of them. I don't read. I feel like I read a lot on my own time, but I don't watch enough of them on the channel. So I thought, you know what? Janu Yaoi has ended. Why do we have to end the Yaoi there? Right? So I hope you all enjoy this reaction discussion. I have no clue what I'm in for, but I wanted something fun to watch tonight, and this is the show that's going to do it. So I'm hyped. Let's see what we get. So this show has such a ridiculous name, but we're going to start episode 1 of Buddy Daddies. Sounds like 3 men and a baby, only it's 2 men and a kid. And we're going to start that here in 3, 2, 1. All right, y'all, let's do this. It's the most wonderful time of the year. I find it very fun that this originally came out like the first week of January, right after Christmas, and just conveniently has a Christmas subplot. I had to bring Whiteboard Kun out because of several reasons. One, this episode sets up questions that it is apparently going to try to answer this season, but also because what I'm happy about is that this is not, it's not Spy Family, but with 2 guys. It's not. It is different, but there are a lot of things that I'm like, that's really on the nose. So I want to talk about the differences between them because I feel like, and I'm not going to spoil Spy Family. If you've not watched Spy Family, I'm not going to spoil that for you. But I am going to draw, there are a few comparisons that I feel like I'm going to try to generalize and gloss over without spoiling Spy Family if you've not watched it. But there are a few similarities that I think, and mainly differences that are worth noting, that I want to take into account. But yeah, we got questions. We got lots of questions. This series, man, I am actually, Kazuki and Rei, I'm actually on board with both their characters. They are very distinctly different. I have questions about them working together, and I'm assuming we're going to get answers to that question. I like Q. Q is our, he's our kind of informant and also like our handler type character that gets him the goods. I like that. But I want to talk about just several things, and I'm going to kind of make two different piles here. Two different sections here. I want to talk about Kazuki. Kazuki versus Rei. Levi 2.0. Levi in a modern setting. Only not, right? He's not a neat freak like Levi, so I guess it's not the same. But man, he looks so different without his hair pulled up, his hair down, totally different guy, right? But I'm gonna put here our buddy daddies versus Spy Family right here. For a show with such a ridiculous title like Buddy Daddies, I really liked this episode. I was kind of like, I'm like, wow, we have lots of questions that the series sets up that doesn't give us answers to them, that I feel like we're going to go back and get answered as we go through the series. It starts out in one spot, then flashes back, then flashes forward, and that's interesting. And then there's so much gore in this episode. I figured that when we find out they're hitmen, it's like, okay, they're hitmen, but man, they don't shy away from it. They're like, no, that guy just got shot in the face, and they don't think twice. They're just like, nope, let's go. And that is something that's interesting, that I'm gonna be curious as we explore throughout this episode. I very much got Great Pretender vibes in the animation. The animation style seemed kind of Great Pretenders, but I don't think it's Sadamoto at all. But it seemed the color scheme and everything seemed very similar to it. The animation's fine. It's not on, like, some of the vehicles and stuff aren't as they seem. You can tell they're more got some CGI elements to them, but it's fine. The animation and the expressions of the characters are wonderful. And so we have these like fake jewels and everything as we have our opening chase scene, right? With our characters and then Rei. I should have seen coming that Kazuki was the driver of the one car with the guy in it, because you saw the hair coming out. I should have seen it coming. But man, they just like go through this whole episode, do like the scene with them, like, and they don't shy away from them like getting hit with bullets and everything. It's great. It's a great opening chase scene. It works really, really well. And then Kazuki has like the gun pointed at him, and they bring him to the hangar. The hilarity of them in the warehouse with him is amazing, saying, "We are professionals, same as you. This interrogation stuff is usually too boring for me to deal with." So, okay. So we know that they're both hitmen, right? They're both hitmen. The question is, at this point, how did they end up together? Because they've not been together very long, it doesn't seem like. It seems like both of them have been hitmen for a while. Like, they both didn't just become hitmen and this is their first time together working with one another. It seems like they both have been hitmen for a while and have been working in the underground for a bit. But they just now started living together. And so it seems that it's Rei's home. It's Rei's home, or his funds, but with Kazuki living with him. Which is interesting because, yeah, Rei may have the money. Kazuki, we find out, I guess we need to put that with his character, that Kazuki has bad luck. He's not good with, he has bad luck because he has a thing with the gambling where he goes in with the money, he comes out without his coat on, he loses everything. And Rei might be well off. So they're very well off financially. I would imagine Rei makes better financial decisions maybe than Kazuki does. So again, showing how they're very different right off the bat, right? Now, Kazuki says that he doesn't interrogate. That stuff bores him. And maybe this is the one way that they're similar, is that because Ray does not seem like a talkative person at all. He's kind of Kazuki he's extra. We have our extrovert and we have our introvert. Right? We have our extrovert versus our introvert. And I would say that's probably the first difference I see with Spy Family. Again, I'm not going to spoil any plot elements for Spy Family. The stuff I'm going to say is pretty bare bones. You get it from like the first episode on. So nothing really spoilery. But with Buddy Daddies, you have two opposites, right? Two opposites that are just in the same profession. And that's how they relate or connect. In Spy Family, you have two professions, but you have characters with a similar core. Like, you could say that Lloyd and Yor are the main characters in Spy Family. Their personalities may be somewhat different, but their moral cores are similar. We don't know enough about Kazuki and Ray to know if their moral cores are similar or not, but their personalities are like polar opposites. Could not be more different, right? And so, yeah, he's like, I don't take kindly to you trying to import these fakes, all that. And then, oh my God, the look on Ray's face. Like, Ray just looks so damn intimidating. I love how grumpy Ray is. He's just so dour. He's just like, and the thing about it is, he's passionate. He's not apathetic. Ray clearly has some passion, but he's just a very introverted character. And I know lots of people like Ray, so I'm like, yeah, cool. I definitely relate more to Kazuki, but it's great. And so this guy like tries to give him all this info and like beg for his life, right? When Kazuki's phone goes off, the hilarity of his phone going off in the middle of a job, and then these two start bickering like an old married couple. He's like, oh yeah, Moshi Moshi. It's like, Papa Kazuki, Miri Chan's got a fever. Can you come pick her up? And he's like, oh yeah, I'm on my way. And then of course he's like, looks over and he's like, dude, you said she was fine when you dropped her off. And Ray's like, I mean, I love he has to think about it. He's like, oh, well, like, her nose was running, I guess. And he's like, you son of a bitch! They're instantly like a married couple. So Kazuki is the paternal one. He is the one that, we'll talk about this, has experience of wanting to be a father. Ray is observant, but very nonchalant. He's just like, the kid will be fine. They're perfectly fine. And Kazuki's like, no, she has a fever, you moron. I just love how they're arguing in the middle of all this. It's absolutely hilarious. And the one guy's like, excuse me. And then they're like, you ruined my whole plan. You screwed up my whole plan again. And then he says, it's none of your business, but out. And just shoots him in the face. Like said, shut up, and just shoots him. Okay, that is one thing. That this series, it does not paint our two main guys as heroes. No, they are hitmen. They are not the morally good character. Whereas in Spy Family, our main characters, even the one that's an assassin, is doing things for a reason. They're painted as like morally good. They're the heroes of the story. Not these two guys. No, they're hitmen. They're not painted as heroes. They're just trying to do their jobs, right? I like that it just doesn't, it plays it for comedy. It's like a black comedy. It plays it for humor that they shoot the guy and go. And honestly, I'm not somebody that really, condones violence like that, but it's almost hilarious in that they're just like, just go. That's part of it. It's mainly their relationship that gets developed. Ridiculous, right? We're coming for you, Miri. So this has been going on for several months, right? And so Miri first came to live with me and Ray last December. During a particular Christmas job. And then we cut to several months earlier, and we do the whole Buddies Daddies thing. So yeah, we're gonna backtrack and talk a little bit about our boy Kazuki. Kazuki is very much, he's how do I word this? Sexually active. Yeah, we're going to put sexually active under Kazuki. Ray seems to not care at all. Right? He's like, no. Kazuki's like getting laid all the time. That's like his thing. He's like Moran off of Moriarty the Patriot. He's just like, he's being a ladies' man. Let's do this. Ray does not seem to care whatsoever. Right? He's just like, he's a gamer. He's like, I don't have time for none of that. Or at least so we think, right? I'm sure if those ladies saw him with his hair up, they'd probably think differently. But yeah, but again, this is all establishing that it's just part of his job. Like, he just had sex with her so he could get in and steal her intel. And then while she's taking a shower, he, like, bids her goodwill, like, see ya, and then heads on out. He takes her info and he leaves. He was just there for a job, right? So, he doesn't take any of these sexual exploits seriously. Probably should have, because he ends up having a kid out of it, right? Which begs the question. We'll talk about this with the woman in the flashback. But piece of cake. So yeah, he's looking over. He seems like, I like Kazuki's going against the grain with his little scarf. He's like going against the grain, not really following anybody's, lead there. And goes back to his very, very nice apartment where he has all the stuff to make food. And then sees all the boxes, like everything, like cigarettes. So, okay. There's just food everywhere. There's cigarettes everywhere. There's a game. And then you have Ray. So Kazuki seems healthy, at least as far as taking care of himself. So he can cook and cleans. Whereas Ray smokes and is not concerned health-wise. He's eating like junk food and pizza. He's not making his own food. There's no he's got like leftover tins and stuff, but he's not super ambitious for cooking. Whereas Kazuki's like making food and salmon and all this stuff. So again, polar opposites. There's like an exercise machine maybe in the back. I love that he's just like, So interestingly enough, they seem like they both just moved in there, and Ray just did the bare bones to get himself set up so he could play games, and then said, screw it. And Kazuki's like, let's make this a home. So again, how did they end up in the apartment together? Maybe we'll find out. Maybe they just got contracted to work together and that was it. And this is just a way of them working together. And I like that he tries to air out all the smoke, and he's like, it's cold. Like, close the door. And then we see the cat. Like, Ray wants a cat. Again, I'm just saying that they have the cat. I guess, yeah, this is kind of a spoiler. So, mild banana fish, mild Spy Family spoilers. There's a cat in this. There's a dog in that. So, just gonna erase that now so y'all know. Not that it wasn't obvious when I started writing. Sorry about that. But yeah, so I love that Kazuki tells him, he's like, no. He's like, you can't take care of that. He's like, how many times do I have to go over this? Quit bringing home every stray you find out there. So this has been, okay. So this has been going on for a little while then. So again, the question of how long, because they've had this conversation before. And the conversation with the cat is that he's like, you can't take care of a cat. And so then Ray says, well, look, here's all my stuff I brought with me. I've bought things. So maybe these two have been working together for a while, but they get moved from place to place, and so they just box everything up and move. And they've been together for quite a while on the job. Maybe that's it. That could be. But he's like, do you think buying pet food means you've taken care of it? And I love that as he's lecturing Ray is just playing his games like he could care less. He's so grumpy. It's great. He's like, you gotta bathe it, clean up its poo, keep an eye on its health. And the moment he picks it up is when Ray starts paying attention. I'm putting it back where you found it. Don't ha me. Tell me where you found it. He's like couch crasher. And he's like shut in. I love the idea that they have the blue and red eyes. It's great. But Kazuki like puts the cat back in his little Oliver and Company box. It's like, just wanted to sing the main theme from Olive and Company, but he gives him his scarf. So Kazuki, he's not heartless, right? He's not heartless. We just don't know. We get a lot of Kazuki in this episode. We don't know a lot about Ray. Ray's pretty a mystery at this point. But we know a lot about Kazuki. He's like someone who will love you, ideally. Like, you need to be in a relationship with someone that can love you back. What I like about this moment in this episode is that Kazuki kind of runs through why having a cat in their profession is a problem. And it shows him like putting everything together. And as he's putting everything together, Ray is not helping at all. He's still just playing his video games while Kazuki does things. Right? But he makes like all the food and everything. He makes all of the food. I want to go back and get that part of the conversation. What does he say here? Find somebody normal to take care of you. And so Ray establishes that he does not, no spicy food for Ray. Ray don't like the spice. He wants to keep it pretty vanilla, right? Which is fine. And he says, are you still mad about the cat? And of course Ray's like, he doesn't say anything. He's just like obviously still mad, right? So he just carries this grudge. But Kazuki, he just gives him a look. He says, we're in a line of work that makes our futures uncertain. We could end up on someone's shit list and dead in the middle of nowhere. Bad stuff could happen to the people we drag into our lives too. So he seems to understand. He understands the danger that they're in. He's like, no. He's like, we could die any day. We don't need to bring people into our lives. He's like, no, don't bring someone in if you're not going to take care of them, start to finish. And then we see the woman. Now, I did a comparison before I started this reaction because the girl in the photo that sends him with Miri, it shows him like listening to the baby. Says this little one can't wait to see Papa. Her hair does look different than his, so I don't think they're the same women, right? I think that, let me get the right marker here. I think that Kazuki, I wonder if Kazuki tried to have a family while being a hitman. He tried to have a family and play that role, and it didn't work out. Maybe she died, maybe the kid died, and then he was like, nope. Can't do that. So the question is, Miri's mom, is she the one in the flashback? I don't think that she is. I think it's a different woman because their hair does look slightly different, right? But I think that Kazuki tried to have a family while being a hitman and it did not work out. Someone came after them, tried to kill his wife. Maybe they did kill their wife and daughter or child. We don't know if it was a girl or a boy. We don't know if it was Miri yet. We don't know. He says, no more strays. And the Ray's like, you can't tell me what to do. And so they go after this stuff and get the stuff ready for tomorrow. We're working Christmas Eve. I love that he's like, sure. I love that Ray's like, sure, I have nothing else to do. So we have Target, Hayami at Sushi, 32 years old, hair bleached recently, no chronic diseases, no drug use, skills limited to basic self-defense training, major broker in human trafficking organization. Base of operations unknown, range of operations, major sweet tooth, political connections, black market. So the person that they're targeting is, doing human trafficking. So not a nice person either, right? But we don't know who is hiring the Buddy Daddy boys. We don't know who that is, right? Interesting. So Kazuki, again, we have the person that's really like heartful, heart on his sleeve. Then Ray seems rather heartless, and cold. So it's going to be interesting getting more on Ray. I'm curious, right? Very curious how they met, how this goes about. I like that Ray's finding the clothes and then Kazuki's getting the stuff to make the food. It seems like Kazuki gets all of the info and intel and planning And then Ray takes care of the weapons and kind of the strategy as well. So yeah, it seems like he takes care of the weapons and all that, and Kazuki gets the plans laid. Interesting. And so then he goes to, I like the coffee shop he goes to. What's it called here? It's like Yadarigi Coffee and Light Meals in this little alleyway, right? And that's when he finds a Q, who is the handler that he gives the information to. Okay. He's really cool. He's like a cool character. He's like, you know, just kind of quiet, nonchalant. But again, both of them have informants. What's interesting about this is that Buddy Daddies, the Kazuki makes the comment of not to drag others into their mission, right? Like the girl he slept with, he just got her info and left. That was it, right? Whereas in Spy Family, the whole premise is about a family that's made and dragged into it. So it's kind of funny, which again, Kazuki has no choice but to accept this girl after he sees the photo of him and the woman together. Like, well, shit, probably should have backed that up, but it didn't. Now, he says here Ray's portion is in here too, and he says, oh, thank you. And he grabs the one part and takes it and says, send it to the usual place. So he's sending part of his money somewhere. And the guy's like, I'll try, but I don't think she'll be in the mood to take it. So that leaves the question too. Is she dead, or did she leave him? Did she have the kid and kick him out? Did he leave her and the kid because he was afraid they were in danger? There's lots of questions about him and the pregnant woman and his daughter, and if the woman's the same woman. There's lots of questions that I'm really wanting to know, like who's he sending money to? What's the deal with that? Like, is he just paying like child support? Did he know he had a kid? He didn't seem to know he had a kid at the end, so curious. So many questions. And then he leaves. But here's the thing. He leaves. It's almost like he's given that life up. Like he's given up the idea that he could have like a family and a life like that. But he has his own vices. I like that Kazuki is not like a saintly character. Here's the thing. Kazuki versus Lloyd. I love Lloyd. Don't get me wrong. But we talked about this in the comments in Spy Family. Lloyd kind of is like a can't do wrong kind of, I don't want to say he's a Gary Stu, but he very much is like this paragon character. Kazuki's got flaws, right? He gambles. He's not good with money. He's got great talents. Like he's cooks, he cleans, he seems very paternal, he seems like he has a good heart inside, but he's not perfect, right? Like he gambles away money, you know, and then he like sleeps with these girls and like just is like, whatevs, I guess I want to get some, so let's do this. And like he's not this paragon of virtue, I guess is what I'm getting at. That he very much has his own flaws and is dealing with his own issues that we don't fully understand yet. But it's curious because he's like, yeah, he tells this woman, he's like, yeah, we just did it the other day. And I'm like, oh. She's like, oh, no fun. And they convince him to go in and gamble. And then he loses his coat and his money. At the Fairy Lips, which is funny. And so he's like just going through the mall area there, like shivering because he's cold. Dude's got some biceps. And then he sees the girl with the family. And he thinks back like that he doesn't have that. And then he goes back to see the cat. And at that moment, the cat's gone. So he leaves the food. So he got the cat some dang food. Darn it. Now, on the train, that's when we first see the little girl. And there's like nobody with her. This lady just pinned a $5 bill onto her and said, good luck, kid, and sent her on her way. What the hell? Although, in the picture at the end, maybe this woman was not the most ideal mom. We don't know the circumstance. She sent this girl with a backpack. You would think that's not realistic, but I did have a friend that his wife like sent her daughter to him and was like, here's your kid, I don't want her. You don't think that... it's interesting because I think it's a nice play a more realistic play on like on mothers, and that not every mother in the world is like this paragon of maternal instinct and everything. No, that's not the case. Although it begs the question of the why with the mom sending Mariah away. It's like, how? Because yeah, I do have a friend and he has a daughter, and the mom up and one day decided like, I don't want this kid, and she just left him with the dad and was like, bye, and peaced out and just left. So it happens. Her being abandoned by her mom is not surprising to me. Her being sent like to go find him with just a letter and take this train and go, clearly it's painting the mom as a very irresponsible person. So I do not think they are the same as the mom in the flashback. I think the mom in the flashback was him trying to have a family, did not pan out. So he went all hitman and then just slept with all these women, you know, in the meanwhile. And then one of them had a kid and then was not a good parent and sent her to go find him. There we go. But I love that her wish is to go. She wants to see Papa again. And she's been sent to go find him. So yeah, I like that we get a little insight into Ray's room. Ray's room is, of course, dark, like his soul. And it just has, like, all his tech gear and stuff. It's kind of cool. Like, he plays all these games. He's a gamer and he plays his games, but has this knack. Makes sense. He's just so dour. He's very glum. He never smiles. I want to see him smile. It's like, oh. But I love the dynamic between him and Kazuki, right? I like him between him and Kazuki. I'm like, if Kazuki is our bisexual king, I'm here for it. Ray almost seems asexual, like he just doesn't want anything to do with anybody. So I'm rooting for him already. And so they have this plan to track him down and use like the cake and everything to do it. And it seems like it will work. The plan goes through. And of course, but the girl, so they sent her, it says Kurusu Kazuki. All right. Now, what was her name on the card? It said Kurusu Kazuki. And what was her name that she left on there? And it says Unasaka Miri. Okay. So we don't know much about her other than Unasaka is her name. So yeah, interesting. So yeah, and then she sneaks into the elevator. Like, there is a little bit of suspension of disbelief. Like, I think my biggest complaint of the episode is how she got all the way to the hotel and knew where to go to follow him. That's probably my only complaint with the episode, is that it's like, what a coincidence that she goes to the same embassy suites where her dad just happens to be working. Although, I don't know. Because she kind of looked like the Atsushi guy, right? But I'm so curious. That's the only part that threw me out of the episode, was how did she manage to get there? Like, how did she get to that hotel and know he was going to be there? That's the only thing that I'm like, not sure about. But he sees her and is reminded of, like, that he wanted to be a father. Because she called him Papa. And she's so freaking cute. And she says, it's me, Miri. Did you bring me what I wanted? And she's like, I wanted so hard to see Papa for Christmas. And that's when he sees, like, the woman there. And he gets to say such a secret softy, right? But of course, again, Ray, not a softy at all. Ray was going to shoot through Miri to kill the guy. I was like, oh my God, no. So, again, we have like instant family values in Spy Family, because you have Lloyd and Yor, and they're instantly like familial for reasons you will find out in the show. And then here, yeah, Kazuki is very much like a father and was maybe an actual father. But then Ray is like no paternal instinct whatsoever. He was going to shoot through that little girl to kill that man. I was like, oh my God. And Kazuki's like, no! So that's amazing. Like, the whole thing with the cake and everything, I loved it. And then, God, Ray just like kicking the door down, absolutely amazing. Ray with the suit. Dude can pull off a look. The three-piece suit, dude can pull it off. But then Kazuki's like, I gotta rescue this kid. And of course, she gets taken hostage by the one guy. The funny thing is, okay, is that even, or is that at sushi? Oh, it's not. Oh God, I'm an idiot. It's not Kazuki's kid. It was at Sushi's kid, the guy that they killed. Oh my God, she went to go see her dad. That's why they told her to go to the hotel. Oh my God, she went to go see her dad and it was him. That's why they have the same eye color. But he kind of looks like Kazuki. Oh my gosh, my brain, mush. I wondered in the episode if they were actually father and daughter because they had the same eye color. And they are. But Kazuki saves her. So they basically just shot her dad and killed him. Okay. That they just killed him there. And Rei's like, what are we doing? I love that Kazuki's like, well. And she's like, I wanted to see you. And she's like, I love you, Papa. Which makes this all the more complicated if they killed him. Okay, so Rei's like, I'm heading out. And he's like, oh yeah, right. I love that Rei's just like, I killed him. We're good. We're going to go. And he just shoots the window and leaves. Oh my God. Amazing. And then they manage to get out and take her with them. And then, yeah, they get back. My favorite is when they get back to the apartment. She's sleeping there. And Rei's just like, so you got to keep a kid and I can't keep a cat? I hope that they let him get a cat now. Right? But then, yeah. So the pictures, it's at sushi. And it's his kid. Okay. The guy with the human trafficking. Okay. Now it makes sense. It's not. Because when I look at the picture, I'm like, well, man, Kazuki, his eyes don't look quite as red. No. They basically had this kid that was the daughter, the illegitimate daughter of this broker, and she sent him to go find her, and they killed her actual dad. Oh my God. So, wow, okay, and now we cut back to Kazuki. Yep, the photo is not him, and he's just like, shit. But their hair does look similar. In my defense, their hair and eye color are similar. And Kazuki's like, well, shit, we just goofed. So basically, Miri, right? Okay, now what did it say on his stuff about, did I just miss that whole thing that we had the broker? Because he said, where's the information that he says on there? What was the guy's name on the form? I was not paying attention to the hitman thing. Okay, hold on. Okay, so no, his last name was different, so okay. So yeah, so basically, crap. It wasn't his kid. So basically, Miri is the daughter of a man they killed, but she thinks that her dad is Kazuki, who was denied being a father. And so now he's going to take this opportunity to raise a daughter as his own, and then Rei's over here like WTF. Okay. Now we're all on the same page. It all makes sense now. Oh my God. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. It's gonna be, will she ever find out that they killed her real dad and took her in and basically kidnapped her? But here's the thing. This is where it's gonna get complicated. The woman that sent her to the at sushi guy, the woman that sent Miri there, if she finds out that he's been assassinated or killed, is she gonna go looking for her, being like, oh my God, who's watching my daughter now? You know, is that gonna become a thing? And so that's going to be a question of Miri's fate. Now it all makes sense. Oh my God. Makes sense why she knew. That now the whole episode makes sense. That one piece of information changes everything. Because yeah, she's basically went from place to place, finding the hotel, the embassy suites, where her dad was. that all makes sense now. It wasn't, because that was the one thing taking me out of the episode, was how'd she just conveniently end up there with Kazuki? Kazuki's not her real dad. It was the Atsushi guy they killed. Oh my god. Okay. So, flashback. I want to know more about Kazuki's past with his wife and their kid. What happened to them? I want to know much more about Ray, because Ray is interesting. I want to know his backstory. I want to know if we're going to find out how these two got together, how they became hitmen under the same roof. What the hell are they going to do with Miri? Is this whole killing their dad going to come back to bite them? The fact that her real dad, like, held her and was going to kill her. Is this going to be like the Found Family where Kazuki becomes who her real dad could have been? Oh my god, I can't believe, I'm embarrassed that it took me that long to put the pieces together, but now it all makes sense. Oh my god. So yeah, Buddy Daddies. So that's my project this spring, is for fun. I'm going to watch this series and have fun with it and just enjoy the show. So hopefully y'all are on board with me, and hopefully I won't screw up the plot like I did in this episode. Lord. But it all makes sense now. We put all the pieces together. It just took us 40 minutes to do so. So I'm excited to hear your thoughts down below. I hope y'all are in for this wild ride, because I am too. Hopefully I'll keep everything straight in the next episode and know what the hell is going on. But in the meantime, I hope y'all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back very soon with more Buddy Daddies. Bye.